Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And I want to start by asking a question. Are you interested or feel like you want to give more in your life and do more? Then, if the answer is yes, you're in the right place. Today, I'm joined by my good friend, Jill Valentine from UGO Impact. We met in Greenland, I guess like 6 months ago, on an epic adventure abroad. And she's here today to chat with us about transformative travel and how to create a social legacy in your business. So, Jill, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So, you really first introduced me to this idea of, this transformative travel kind of concept. And oh, we've got Charlotte joining us. Hello, Charlotte. Yeah, if you're here, you're joining us live, pop in and say hi. And if you have questions for Jill as well, please do post those as we dive in. So, how do you define transformative travel for people that are watching?
Yeah, so transformative or transformational travel, depending who you talk to, is basically the idea that travel really is and can be hugely transformative. It can change your life, it can change the life of those that you're, visiting. And it's the idea of traveling with intention with that in mind. Or if you've gone on a trip and it has been transformative, the unpacking of that, the allowing of it to change your life. Um, a lot of people don't really know, but we all know that travel sort of is transformative. You go, you come back, you feel refreshed and whatever, but so much is at play when you travel that it makes you so ripe for transformation, for self-reflection, for growth, for so many things. And the idea of intentionally using that is what sort of makes transformative travel what it is. The idea that you'll go abroad and, you know, do some self and life journey stuff.
And I think the beauty of and the thing that a lot of people, you think the trip, the actual travel is the thing, and that's part of it, but it's the stuff you do before, it's the what you do afterwards. It's if you just do the thing and you don't take the time to understand it or all of that afterwards, then you could be missing something really
Exactly.
important. Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell us, so UGO Impact, tell us a bit more because I mean, obviously I know what you do and I think it's amazing, but you have a big trip this year that you're planning that obviously got postponed because of COVID probably many times, but would love for you to share what you're doing and really who this is for.
So yeah, UGO Impact, we deliver basically transformative travel programs. And what they're all about is they are like a life coaching program that includes a volunteer experience abroad. Because some of the travel that I know has been most transformative, especially in my life, has been when I've been immersed in a community, especially in a giving back way. And so, for example, we have our Courage Community Kilimanjaro program coming up in the fall. And it's a 3 month coaching program and then 2 weeks right in the middle. So in October, we go and we spend a week volunteering with the Dare Women's Foundation, building a women's shelter. And then we spend a week climbing Kilimanjaro. And both of those things are huge opportunities for growth, for out of your comfort zone, for vulnerability, for sharing, for just being away and gaining a whole new perspective on yourself, on your life. Um, and and yeah, so what this program is amazing at is it's really helpful for people who are gaining or looking to gain clarity and or confidence. Both actually work well together. Clarity around, maybe a next move in life, a desire to get unstuck. Potentially they've, are in their business and they just want to do more. They want to, rather than, sell to their everyday clients, they're like, is there more I can do with my business to make a bigger impact? It's the opportunity to get away and really just take some time for some deep thinking and connecting with people who might be super inspiring and help you figure things out. And then, as I mentioned, the climbing Kilimanjaro piece, it's an amazing opportunity to push yourself in emotional ways and physical ways, and a ton of, again, people that have come on our journeys with us report huge boosts to confidence and just sense of like ability to do awesome and amazing things in their life. So for entrepreneurs, it's been game changing for some of them. And we do have corporate people who have come back and made huge, life changing or business changing things, changing careers, changing businesses, whatever that might be. So that's what it does and kind of who it's for.
Yeah, I love it. And I think especially right now, people are really feeling that desire to travel again, for one. I know that's definitely something that I'm like, "Oh, yeah," when you can't do it for so long, you're like, "Oh, this is really important to me." But also that idea of giving back and not just going and, like, laying on a beach for a week, although I just did go to a resort and had a very relaxing week and didn't it was definitely not taxing in any way, shape, or form. But I think trips like what you're offering are so important, or like the trip that we did with Wayfinders to Greenland. Like they're so transformative to your soul, to how you see the world and how you run your business and that impact that you want to make. So I think there's really amazing benefits to travel, but doing it in the container like you're offering, where you're taking people somewhere that's very far away and volunteering and climbing a mountain, and that's it's really challenging, but a very personal journey, I'm assuming, for each person.
Absolutely. And I love that you sort of mentioned that container. That is what we do. We provide this extremely safe. I mean, from all ways safe. We use an incredible company to climb Kili. We work with an amazing in-country partners. But then I also, like, one of my gifts is creating a container where people feel psychologically safe to go deep, to share with others. And we don't often take the time to actually do that for ourselves. We're often busy in the doing of life that we don't kind of take that pause and really have a chance to do some more deep inner reflection of what is, how is my life right now and where do I want it to go? And again, as I mentioned, travel is powerful because it takes you away from your routine and it takes you away from your familiar, and it helps you to, what I say, escape. But not that you need to escape your life, but for many of us, for myself, I have to show up as a mom, as an entrepreneur. I have to, I'm showing up as a friend, as a wife, whatever it might be. And when you can get away and just truly show up as yourself with zero expectations, there's something really powerful in that, and that ability to reconnect to who you are, and some chance to like look inside and go, hey, where did Jill go? I was a little lost for a while, and there I am. And this is some of my hopes and dreams for my life and how I do want to make a difference in the world. And getting just that opportunity again that we don't often get to do, and having someone facilitate that for us is really, really powerful, as we did experience in Greenland together. And as our alumni have all had the opportunity to experience.
Yeah. So I'm always fascinated how people get their start. So, how did this become a thing for you? Like, where did you get the inspiration to start this business?
So I have always been an avid volunteer. I have volunteered like thousands of hours for over 30 different local and international organizations. So that's just a part of who I am. I'm a deep believer in being a force for good in this world and giving back. And when I decided that I wanted to become a life coach after spending a year volunteering abroad in Uganda, the coaching process was so transformative for me. Like, I learned so much about myself, and so much of it had to do with my time in Uganda. And there was so much self-discovery around that. I started thinking there was something there. And then I went and I spent a month volunteering in the Philippines after Typhoon Yolanda. And it was so powerful. I spoke to a ton of international volunteers there. And I could see they were all like trying to process this profound experience they were having. Like, how do you go home after this?
Right.
How do you keep how do I create purpose in my life after I've had such a profound sense of purpose here? And I was like, this is it. Volunteering abroad, especially, and life coaching together, like crazy, powerful, transformative opportunity. And that was it. I turned out I was pregnant when I was in the Philippines. I found out and discovered. And then I slowly started a business where I knew I wanted to marry volunteering abroad with life coaching. And so I decided running a life coaching company that included a volunteer abroad experience as a just an experience as part of the curriculum, just made so much sense to me. It had been so profound in so many people's lives, and I was like, then I should be harnessing this, the harness the power of volunteering, harness the power of travel within this, program.
Yeah. And I love that you took those things. And I mean, I talk about this with branding all the time, that like it's going back to like what are you bringing forward from your past, like your love of travel, the fact that you lived abroad in Uganda and that you volunteered extensively, that you took this life coaching, that you went to the Philippines and saw that people didn't know how to process what happened after, how to leave that event, and the amazing work they did, and go back and feel like a bit lost, like now what? And so I love that you really pulled these different pieces together to create a business that is so you. In the time that I've known you, like you were such a giver, you were so um that is just your nature, is to really give back to people and to support others. And so the fact that you've been able to create a business doing that is exactly what, we should all aspire to, is like really finding all those things that you are passionate about and like putting it together into a business. And that's what makes you unique and special in what you do.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I had spent years working I mean, I had done a brief little stint in full on corporate, like Bay Street. That was so not for me. But then I spent a number of years in the nonprofit world, feeling very unfulfilled, like working these jobs, just not feeling it, and not feeling like my gifts were being honored, not feeling like I was using my strengths, like actually feeling quite small about myself. And yeah, I look now at what I do and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm literally getting to use all of the strengths that I have, my gifts, like the things I naturally do are, being able to be celebrated in this work. And that just makes me feel so amazing. And having had that journey, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like if I can help others. And again, I don't expect people to like quit their jobs and go like necessarily start their companies or pivot their entire businesses to something different. But if I can help them tap into that deeper understanding of like who they are and bring that more to the surface and help them to understand how that sort of service leadership mindset can serve them, wherever they are, whether they're, an entrepreneur or a corporate individual or whoever, and how that can just bring so much to their lives in terms of feeling purpose and meaning and everything, and how to do it in a really healthy and sustainable and ethical way. So that's kind of, I get so excited by that, by like turning people onto the idea of being a force for good in this world, knowing it makes us truly happier people and the world a better place.
Oh, I love it. And your passion for this comes through. Like whenever you talk about it, I really, really see that. If you're joining us and you have questions for Jill about transformative travel, about the trip to Mount Kilimanjaro that she's doing later this year, anything related to that, volunteering, pop it into the comments, or if you're watching the replay later and you have questions, just comment wherever you are and tag Jill, and she can definitely help you. And we'll make sure we post links as well in the chat, so you can connect with her. So the other piece I wanted to talk to you about is around social legacy, and it's such an interesting topic, and I wonder if people really understand it, if they know what that means, or how to even integrate that into their businesses. So can you share a little bit about what social legacy is to start with?
Absolutely. So, I mean, we all understand hopefully what the idea of a legacy is. It's, what do you want to be leaving behind when you move on from this world? And, a lot of us don't think about that. And often when we actually do, it usually is something that has a social leaning, that has a sense of, I did contribute to the world in a positive way, rather than like, I made the millions. A lot of people want to be remembered for being giving, for making a difference, for impacting people's lives. So that's kind of the idea of a social legacy is, and it's not something you want to necessarily like leave in a will that you donate some money, which is amazing. Don't like absolutely do that. But this idea of living your social legacy, living the life, how do you want to be seen? How do you want to be known as now? Like, what do you want to be contributing and doing with your life? And for a lot of us, there is that social element. There is the giving back, as I said, contributing to a better world. And so taking the time to actually think about that and take steps towards it. You know, so many people I know are like, when I'm making the millions, I will. And it's like, that's amazing. And definitely when you get there, but there's so much we could be doing now. So many, you know, ways that you can either leverage your business if you're an entrepreneur, or if you can just give back to your own community, or to use a job that you have or a business that you work within, whatever it might be, to start giving, to start making that difference now. And again, identifying those things, figuring out what it is and how, and like I talked about before, what strengths can you bring, you know, to your impact, to your giving back, to your making a difference. So it's kind of looking at all that. And that is what a social legacy is. It's the difference that you want to make in your lifetime.
And starting it now, not leaving it when you're gone, I guess, is sort of the purpose of what you're
Oh,
sharing.
and I share that for so many reasons. One, truly, the world needs your help now. I think we can look around and all agree between just what's happening in places like the Ukraine and with our climate and mental health issue. Like there are so many areas and so many things that are going on right now that need passion and caring and compassion and action. And on the other side, so the world needs it, but also I cannot emphasize enough, and like research backs me up like crazy on this. It makes us happier. It makes us healthier. It reduces stress when we give. Like it makes greater connections to people when we are giving and come from that service place. Like it will improve your life as well as the world around you. And so to leave your giving to later doesn't actually make sense. Like, especially if you're an entrepreneur, I have to say it will actually help your business to become more of a conscious capitalist, to actually get into some, you know, corporate social responsibility, to start using your business for good will actually benefit and create more profit within your business. So even on that front, it's like start it now, don't wait. Um, yeah, so that's, yeah, I get very excited about it.
Yeah. And I love you use the term conscious capitalism. And I had never heard of that before. And I think it was you mentioned it, and it came up again recently with a client. I was like, or ethical, capitalism. I was like, damn, that's like you think capitalism on its own, it's a bad word, but that then makes us feel like making money is bad, wanting to be successful, wanting to earn however much money. It creates this negative thing around money and like, oh, I should just want to do these things for free. Well, we can actually give more if we make more. So, one of the things that I write down every day is like, the more money I make, the more impact I have, the more people I can serve. Right. So it's actually flipping that concept and just being like, I'm going to do it in a conscious, ethical, empathetic way. But I can't do it if I'm poor and
Yes.
I'm not thriving and I'm struggling to make ends meet. I can't help anybody at that point except myself, trying to like keep my head above water.
Absolutely. And there's so many terms now that are being used, like a for benefit, instead of like for profit or social enterprise. You know, the charitable model of just constantly please give is a struggle. It's a struggle for the people that work within it. It's a struggle for those recipients of it. And so the idea that we can leverage capitalism, leverage the world that we're already in to do good at the same time, instead of just making it about money making, is so powerful. And then there's the using it as a tool for good, and the using it so it's not actually harmful is also another aspect. Like, just let's not tear the earth apart. Let's not, oh my gosh, what's the word? Let's not do horrible things to people and the planet in pursuit of money. Let's, if we're going to make money, at least be, not ravaging the world or people in our pursuit for that. And, there's a lot of ways, like there's an amazing company called Ethical Swag. And I know you met Tara when we were at Dovetail, and she runs an amazing company. And for all those companies out there that are just giving away the cheap made in China plastic crap with their names all over it, it's like, hey, What about using swag that's ethically sourced or that is compostable or all of those things? Those, I
Yeah.
say small business decisions, but some of them would be significant. Business decisions, looking at your business and seeing where you can reduce harm and seeing where you can do good. So yeah, I get super excited about conscious capitalism. Capitalism is, let's be honest, one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful force in the world. I mean, let's be real. It has a huge influence on politics. It has a huge influence on a ton of things. And if we can use capitalism for good, it doesn't have to be about money. It doesn't have to be about, yeah, being a big bad corporation. Let's leverage capitalism and people's desire to buy and need things in a positive way for us and the world. Anyways.
Yeah, definitely. And Charlotte just made a comment. Conscious capitalism is such a good term to understand, and that you've helped her understand that in IRL. I learned that term for my kids, by the way, in real life. I was like, what is they kept talking about RL. It's like, oh my God, I'm aging myself now. They're like, real life, mom, in real life. I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm getting schooled by my kids. I think it's such an important thing to shift this idea that businesses are bad or big businesses are. I mean, yes, there are some that are, but we all have the ability to create something really powerful in the work that we do. And you talked about like all the things going on, and like the thing that I struggle with is there's so many things to give to. There's so many people that need help, places, and I just end up like, whoop, like I just almost want to back away because it's too much. And I
Yes.
can't be the only one that just feels overwhelmed. It's like, I can't help. It's like when they come knocking at the door, that's only one aspect. And you're like, oh God, I just like, I'm not here. Because you feel like, I don't want to say no, but I
Yep.
also can't give to everybody. And so
Absolutely.
I have to decide for me, where do I want to give? Like, what are the causes that are meaningful to me, knowing that there will be other people that will donate or care for those other. And that was something I just recently, I was like, I need to just focus on the ones that are, I can personally do something with my skills and knowledge and insights, or that it's something that is deeply personal because of something in my family or whatever that is, and that I just have to choose, and those are the ones that I'm supporting, and knowing that other people are supporting all of the rest of
Absolutely.
them.
I love that you brought that up. And that's something that I do work with, with my clients around. And it's that idea of being intentional. Because what can happen is we just end up sort of frittering it all away when we get all those requests. And then at the end of the year, we're like, what difference did I make? And it's not to say we don't want you to respond to all of the requests and whatever, but if we can be intentional, if we can say, hey, I end up, donating about X amount. What if I did that intentionally for a specific cause, for a specific charity? And then I could actually see the impact that that would make, because that's what, a good charity would report back and be like, this is what we did with that, or this is overall what we did this year. And you can go, wow, I played a significant role in that, or whatever it might be. So really being intentional, because I know it's not all about us. It's not. It should always be about the recipients and the good and all of that. But there is a reality. The more we feel good about our giving, the more we're likely to give. So being intentional around it can be really powerful. And then leaving a little reservoir, a little reserve to say, and then I've got this amount that I can give on an as needed basis. That's kind of what I do. I have certain amounts that go to a lot of my programs and things in Uganda, and I've got things earmarked, but then I've got a little pocket. So when, like, the war in Ukraine broke out, I was able to make my, contribution there when other things happen. So it is that idea of like being intentional. And I love what you mentioned about using all your resources, because one of the things we often do is we think, well, if I can't give money, what can I do? And there are a lot of things we can do. And I mean, it really tends to be then we can use things like our time and volunteer, but we can use our influence. We can use our network. We can use our expertise, our knowledge, as you shared. There's amazing things that we don't even recognize that we have that others might be interested in using, especially if you're a business. If you're a business that has like a printing press and, you have like a print area or whatever. Having a small charity have somewhere that they can go, and maybe you just say, hey, feel free to come and use our printing services and whatever. That's significant. If you're a videographer and you're like, you know what, I can donate a bit of my videography time, that is significant. There's so many ways we can give of ourselves. If it's, again, I don't have, I'm working with a charity in Uganda, and they want to raise a large amount of money that's beyond my scope. So again, I have the ability, I have a network, I can crowdfund for them. It doesn't mean I have to have the money coming right out of me or my business. I can use my network, I can use my resources. So there's so many ways that we can be of service, even if we don't have those, dollar bills in our pocket right then and there. And
Yeah.
kindness, education goes a long way. And that is a big thing we can do on social media. Use our voice, use our platform to share important messages, to educate others, inform people. That's easy. That's free.
Yeah. I love that. And it's just so important. And I think we've all been very overwhelmed and in a very reactive mode for the last couple of years, very much like just got to kind of keep going, and you lose sight of, kind of what's outside of your own world. I mean, yes, we have social media. Yes, we have the news, but we've all been at home. We've all been kind of in some, like maybe not everywhere in the world, but you kind of just get in your own little bubble, and you're like, okay, I just got to like get through today. I got to get through this month. I got to get through, and that's not a great way to live. And now I feel like people are coming out of that, and it's good. Thank you so much for this reminder of like, okay, now that I feel like maybe I'm coming up for air, and I have maybe some more resources because my business is making more money, or I got a new job, or whatever that is, you're feeling that now's the time to start looking at, okay, this work that you do, the transformative travel, the volunteering, the giving back in some way, monetarily or with your services or skills, actually makes you feel really good. And I think we've been missing that feel good part of doing good for others a lot because we've just been so separated from that experience.
Absolutely. And I love that you say that. A lot of people, are wishing they could help with the situation in the Ukraine. Yes, I sent money, but it's like, what else can I do? And again, it's not that, I'm not saying don't do anything, but there are refugees that have arrived for years in this city that are struggling still to settle into our city, that are still looking for jobs and communities and people to care and people to spend time with and stuff. So if you can even just tap into, your local community and give in a way that you can help, that's a really big thing. That idea that giving what you can, when you can, and how you can. If we, like you said, if we all give, to one cause, then others can worry about other causes. So if you're not able to specifically help a Ukrainian refugee, there are others. There are other people in the city that are in need, and maybe you are able to help someone else. It's that idea, if we all just give, like you said, to the things that matter to us, the things that are important, everybody would be taken care of. So don't
Yeah.
get too fixated. And the other thing is, when we have a feeling that we want to do something specific, if you even do something slightly different, you're going to fulfill that feeling. Like that's what I've come. I mean, I know Danielle Laporte talks all about that. If you kind of, what is your goal? What are the feelings attached to that? And are there other things you can do to fulfill those feelings? And that idea, that feeling right now that you want to give, there's lots of ways to give and fill that cup.
Oh, I love it. What a great way to wrap things up with us here today, Jill. Thank you so much for being here. What I'll get you to do is if you share the links to your trip and that to Kili and that experience later this year, I'll post that in the comments, or you can go in and do that as well. If people have questions about this, feel free to reach out to Jill. She's a wealth of knowledge and is planning something really spectacular. So thank you again for being here and sharing all about your experience and really sort of shifting how we think about giving back in this world and in this lifetime.
Thank you. It was absolutely my pleasure. It's always so lovely to chat with you. And yeah, thank you. Thank you. And yes, people, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm super friendly, super approachable. hit me up with any questions at all. Don't hesitate to reach out. And Laura, thank you so much. You're always such a ray of sunshine.
Oh, thank you. I'm even wearing my yellow today. I feel a little sunny. Awesome. So, and next week, join me. I'm going to be joined by Brooke Bergman Barr. We're going to be talking all about PAR, I should say. We're going to be talking about relationships and the intersection of relationships and work. And that's going to be a really, really interesting conversation. Awesome. And thank you, Charlotte, so much for joining and for your comments. So happy you were here, and have an amazing rest of your Tuesday, everybody. Bye.